First up this week, it is Goat.
Yes. So this was a release that came out earlier this year, and I don't think it really uh, lit the world on fire. I admit that when I saw the trailers for this thing, I said, "Oh, Sony Animation decided they wanted a Zootopia."
Yes, with basketball, or in this case, it's called Roarball.
We'll get into the nonsense of Roarball in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was never the sort of thing I was going to actually like truck over to a theater to watch.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think that with animated movies in general, we kind of always give each other like veto power. Like if you start watching it and you're just completely miserable in the first 10 minutes, like just give the word and pull the drag chute.
Yes.
And I was half expecting it to be this, but I think it's fair to say that this was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's not the greatest animated movie ever made, but it's certainly entertaining enough to sit through and watch. It's got that classic sports story, and you've got the storylines with all the different characters, and but they're all anthropomorphic animals. And they all live in and of course from what I could tell from the society is that it's separated between the small, medium, and then large animals.
I don't know if they really talked about medium animals, because I noticed that medium was always our main character, the goat himself. Let's see, where did I put that IMDb link here? Will Harris here, the goat, voiced by Caleb McLaughlin from Stranger Things. I noticed that I think only he referred to himself as a medium. I think for the rest of society, it's just big and small.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and so he's got big, he's got big dreams to play Roarball, and of course, his favorite team are the what was the name of the city?
What was the name of the city?
Started with a V.
Regardless, the team is the Thorns, and I couldn't help but notice that in a storyline about a team being down on its luck and possibly being sold off, that the colors and iconography really made me think of the late Seattle Supersonics.
Yes, yeah, yes. I was trying to place it when I was watching it. I'm like, what does the uniform remind me of? And then DB reminded me. They are, of course, now the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yes, which in terms of generic team names, it's a step above the Wildcats, but not very many steps.
But yeah. So Will Harris is he's a goat, and he's got big dreams to play Roarball, but of course he's too small to play Roarball. But that he won't let that stop him, and then he's basically taken like all these different like odd jobs, delivering food and stuff, and then he's behind on his rent, so it's got all the typical,
Right. The kid with big, it's the well-meaning kid with big hoop dreams, trying to make ends meet while he waits for his big chance.
Yes. Yeah.
His big chance emerges when at a local, so the magma from another team, or from another city, excuse me, comes in to play, and our lead of the other team here, the main attraction, ends up challenging locals to basketball one-on-ones, or excuse me, Roarball one-on-ones, and nobody can touch him. And then Will goes in, and he doesn't win. Like, he manages to score a couple of hoops.
Yeah.
Until Maine really starts taking it seriously and playing mean.
Yeah. And then then Will goes viral because he busts a move on him, and as they say in basketball world, he breaks the guy's ankles. figuratively speaking.
I said, like, wait, did they literally do that? Just supposed to be some terminology I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, you hear that all the time. Like when I mean, I used to hear that like when I was in my sports viewing days when I would watch a basketball highlight and some guy, like LeBron or Steph Curry, by the way, who's in this movie, or somebody like that. They make some big move and they like fake out their defender and then like the defender like kind of loses their balance or whatever. Like, oh, he broke his ankles. Like, okay.
Yep. So he goes viral. Meanwhile, you have the long-suffering team, the Thorns. They have a lead player here, Jet Fillmore, played by Gabrielle Union. And by the way, this is a co-ed sports league, which I thought was an interesting choice to probably just try to diversify the cast a little bit.
Yeah, and I guess they figure, with animals, it doesn't really matter if there's no real size difference, I guess.
That is actually one of the advantages of using anthropomorphic characters is that you can just evoke something about the character by making them a particular animal. Like Jet is, she's clearly a panther here, so she's big, powerful, moves smoothly, and is just very intimidating. And she's actually seen as a legendary player, just burned by being on the worst team in the league, never having a shot at the what do they call the
claw,
the championship, basically.
Right. Yeah. I think she's supposed to be a composite of like a lot of different real basketball players, like LeBron James, and although LeBron won a lot of championships, but it took like LeBron and Michael Jordan. It actually took them a long time to finally win a championship. They were like several years into their careers, so that's a little bit of that, and then got somebody like Charles Barkley or I'm trying to think, but yeah, guys like that.
So early in the movie, Jet had approached her owner, who she basically said, get me some people I can actually work with. And so the owner, deciding to play a cynical move, decides to make history by signing the first Little in Rollerball. I keep wanting to say basketball. If I say basketball, I mean their fictional sport.
Right.
And of course, there's tension because everybody just sees it for the stunt that it is. He's never going to actually get to play. Then he gets to play and he shows himself off. And then it turns into what I'll call a fairly standard sports story.
Yeah.
Because it's just the team going from a bunch of unorganized goofballs to a bunch of organized goofballs.
Yeah. Bit like Major League.
Exactly, yeah. Because while you have Jet here as the ace, everybody else is just insane, and it's clear that they're there because while they have talent, nobody else would want them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You got the Rhino character. What was his name? Archie, who's voiced by David Harbour, and of course he's got his two daughters on there. They're always following him around and making his life very hard.
They're little terrors.
Yeah. And then you got the giraffe, Lenny, who's voiced by Steph Curry, and he's got his own stuff going on. And then I can't remember the ostrich girl. I can't remember her name, but she was like she always gets scared and she does the whole thing where she puts her head in the ground.
Yeah. Right. And she's obsessed with people making fun of her in social media, which is kind of ironic that somebody who wants to just put their head in the ground and not think about things is always doom scrolling themselves.
Right. Yeah. And the other thing too with her was that she's been labeled a draft bust. And for those of you who don't follow sports, a draft bust is when a player gets drafted like either like the top pick or like close to the top pick, and they just have no career whatsoever. Many such cases throughout the history of sports. And then last but not least, you got Mondo, the lizard.
who's like he's the wacky one. He has the thick Russian accent. He's always shedding his skin and using it as a blanket.
Yeah, he's voiced by Nick Kroll. Um, and then of course he also got the coach, who's voiced by Patton Oswalt.
Uh, Look, Patton Oswalt is kind of not my favorite person these days, but
Yeah,
he he does have a voice for voice acting.
he
Like he at
does.
least
Yeah,
sounds like a cartoon character,
yeah,
unlike a lot of characters who can just sound very plain. Well, it's
yeah,
like when they bring in like a celebrity voice actor.
yeah, yeah. And but he's the coach, and to go into like real life basketball stuff. Even though he's a coach, he's basically just a glorified manager, which is what most professional basketball coaches are these days.
Right, because they just kind of get bullied by management and the players, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
That's definitely the dynamic you see here.
Yeah.
Speaking of celebrity voice actors who sound like cartoons, the landlord character who kind of ends up being one of our, he's like one of the least important characters overall, uh, voiced by Wayne Knight,
Yes. From
who
yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
who is definitely one of the like guy's been doing voice acting since I was a kid, so like he definitely is not the celebrity just there for a paycheck. Like he knows how to emote for animation.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course, in live action, he was in Jurassic Park. What was the name of his
So,
character?
um, uh,
Can't remember.
been a while since I've seen it.
But and he was also Newman on Seinfeld.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry.
So he's a nice familiar voice.
Yeah,
And so visually speaking, um, I think it is so interesting. Every time I see a trailer for one of these Spider-Verse style lower frame rate 3D movies,
yeah,
it always looks awful to me every time I see a trailer.
yeah,
And then I actually watch the movie and usually looks fine in context. I
yeah,
don't know how it happens every single time. I don't know if they're using like pre-production versions for the trailer for some reason. I don't know uh, if it's just because if the commercial is dropped onto you while you're watching things at a normal frame rate, it just is jarring. Just I don't know. I
yeah.
will say the Spider-Man movies, a lot of the Miles Morales scenes go too low frame, but this one I never had a problem with it.
No, it didn't. No, no. You can't really tell with the animation isn't nearly as janky as it is with like with the Spider Verse movies. It's more in line with K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah, and I'm kind of getting forced to conclude that Sony is the most interesting name in Western animation these days, if they count as Western animation for
Yeah,
like Japanese company. But I think they're currently have a like more domiciled in California, and they have like an Irish CEO. The last I heard.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, I'd put them higher than Illumination. That's for sure.
Uh, yeah, like Illumination makes the big bucks, but they don't make the interesting stuff. And then
Yeah.
DreamWorks is like flip a coin. Are you getting them in their illumination phase or their interesting phase?
No, yeah. uh, but yeah, but yeah, I mean, this movie, it's it's definitely enjoyable, and of course, we haven't gotten into the the wackiness of Roarball, which is just like
It's insane.
it's yeah, it is, yeah, because it's not like traditional basketball where like they're playing on the wood court and they just go up and down and shoot the basket. Like every court is like unique in the design. So like the Thorns home court is like it's like a jungle. It's got vines and
Yep.
trees and everything, and then there's another one where it's all ice, and then another one's all fire and
Yeah, or there's one where it's like a cave and there's like stalagmites um, falling down upon you.
yeah.
Or would it be stalactites? I always forget which is which.
I think it's stalactites because they hang tight to the ceiling.
Okay, there's your mnemonic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like they just yeah, and also they're just interested in being as visually interesting as possible. Like even even down to the balls. I had heard about these hollow balls. It was actually a prototype that Wilson made of a 3D printed ball that they were considering replacing regular balls with at the NBA, but they ultimately concluded the hand feel was not the same, so the players would have to make adjustments. They weren't sure how long they would actually last. They're very expensive because these things are 3D printed for like $2,500 a pop with the first set when I looked it up. But that's where animation is wonderful because as long as you can make a 3D model of it, you're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
The only thing that I thought was kind of weird is because our horse here has to have hoof hands, he has these weird hoof claws on his hands.
Yeah.
So you can grab things.
Yeah.
That I kept finding mildly disgusting. But that's
yeah.
okay. Disgusting is overstating it, but distressing, disturbing.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, this movie is currently on Netflix.
Yep. If you like animation, if you think you like sports movies, if you want to make your kids stop watching K-pop Demon Hunters for the 15th time this month,
Yeah.
and it's only the first, so I don't know how they managed that, but
Yeah.
give Goat a try.
Yeah.